The WNBA just learned the harshest lesson in professional sports. You can't fake star power. 2 days ago, the Indiana Fever announced an injury to Caitlin Clark that will force her to miss at least 2 weeks, and the league's entire ecosystem collapsed faster than Angel Reese's layup. If there wasn't any worry going on in the WNBA executive offices, if there is no worry, all people aren't going to turn off, all people are still going to show up. If that was the thought that they were having up there in WNBA La La Land, well, now might be the time to hit the panic button. Ticket prices for the Fever Sky game at the United Center, they dropped 71% in a single day. Fans are demanding refunds, canceling travel plans, and selling tickets at massive losses. The league moved games to bigger arenas banking on Clark's drawing power, and now they're scrambling as empty seats stare back at them. Meanwhile, where's the Angel Reese effect everyone keeps talking about? Spoiler alert, it doesn't exist. You know what happened the moment news broke about Clark's injury? Fans started panic selling their tickets faster than Angel Reese throws bricks. The Chicago Sky had made what they thought was a brilliant business move, relocating their June 7th game against the Fever from their usual venue to the United Center, home of the Chicago Bulls. They expected massive crowds and premium pricing because everyone wanted to see Caitlin Clark play in person. The reality is, at this point, we don't know how much time Caitlin Clark is going to miss. If it were up to Uncle KC, Caitlin Clark would miss the remainder of the regular season, so jealous, entitled players in the WNBA can be reminded that no one is watching for them. No one is staying home on a Saturday afternoon to watch Natasha Cloud. Outside of Vlad Puder, no one's buying tickets to see Bob Griner, and no one, I mean no one, is paying to see Angel Reese attempt to play basketball. Within hours of the injury announcement, those dreams crashed harder than a wide-open Angel Reese layup. Ticket prices for that United Center game plummeted from $86 for entry-level seats down to just $25. That's a 71% drop in a single day. The Sky went from counting money to counting empty seats before the game even happened. When it comes to the Chicago Sky game, the marquee matchup in the WNBA, like it or love it, rivalry or not, Chicago Sky, Indiana Fever, Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark, that is the marquee matchup in the WNBA, and those tickets are crashing just as well. From $86 48 hours ago to $25. And by the time June 7th rolls around, it might cost you a bag of Skittles and some Lay's potato chips to get in there. Real fans were making tough decisions that revealed the truth about Clark's impact. An avid fan canceled his flights and hotel reservations for the upcoming Connecticut Sun game in Indianapolis, stating, "We are Caitlin fans before Fever fans. She's the biggest draw. That's who the girls want to see." The Washington Mystics faced the exact same nightmare scenario. They had moved their Fever matchup to the larger CFG Bank Arena in Baltimore, betting big on Clark's drawing power to fill those extra seats. When the injury news hit, get-in prices crashed from $41 down to $22. A 47% decrease that left the Mystics staring at a financial disaster. Indiana Fever ticket prices to games over the next 2 weeks have dropped 42% since Caitlin Clark's injury announcement, in average ticket price of $137 all the way down to $80. People are selling their tickets, definitely can't get face value, so what do? They just continue to lower and lower and lower and lower and lower the price. This isn't all resellers, folks, hate to break it to you. A majority of these are everyday normal people. TickPick data revealed the brutal scope of this collapse. Average ticket prices for the 4 games Clark was expected to miss dropped from $137 to $80 across the board. This wasn't some minor market adjustment or seasonal fluctuation. Teams that had gambled on Clark's popularity were now facing half-empty arenas and angry season ticket holders demanding their money back. This complete market meltdown exposed something the WNBA didn't want to admit. Their recent success story depends almost entirely on one player. The financial damage was immediate and measurable, proving that Clark isn't just another talented player or rising star. She's the entire show, the reason casual fans buy tickets and plan weekend trips around basketball games. Meanwhile, Chicago Sky fans were probably scratching their heads wondering why their own supposed superstar couldn't generate even a fraction of this excitement. Angel Reese's presence has never caused ticket prices to surge, travel plans to change, or arenas to relocate games to bigger venues. The contrast couldn't be more obvious when one player's injury triggers a league-wide economic crisis while another player's best games barely register on the public radar. The television ratings tell a story that should make every other WNBA player deeply uncomfortable. During the 2024 season, Clark was responsible for 26.5% of the entire WNBA's activity across attendance, merchandise, and TV ratings combined. That's one player carrying more than a quarter of the league's total impact. But the viewing numbers reveal an even more devastating reality for anyone who thought other players could match her drawing power. With Caitlin Clark injured, the WNBA will be reliant on their other stars to carry the league. I'm not just talking about ratings. I'm not just talking about attendance. The WNBA will be reliant on their other stars to maintain the interest of the mainstream. With Angel Reese being the only player with mainstream name recognition, most of the pressure, it is going to be on her to perform. And we have plenty of evidence that proves Angel Reese is not qualified to carry the league. Of the 23 WNBA games that reached at least 1 million viewers this season, guess how many featured Clark? 20 out of 23. Let that sink in for a moment. Without Clark on the court, the league struggles to hit viewership numbers that she delivers consistently just by showing up and playing basketball. The average viewership for games featuring Clark was 1.178 million viewers, compared to just 394,000 for all other WNBA games. That's not a small gap. That's a chasm. Teams that scheduled nationally televised games around fever matchups were now facing the reality of dramatically lower ratings without their guaranteed audience magnet. ESPN and other networks had built their entire WNBA programming strategy around Clark's ability to deliver viewers. 41 out of 44 Indiana Fever games will be broadcast on national TV in 2025, the highest number for any team in the league. Networks structured their schedules and promotional efforts around the expectation that Clark's presence would consistently deliver high viewership numbers. The 3 games that managed to hit 1 million viewers without Clark, they were playoff games and season openers with massive promotional pushes behind them. Regular season games featuring other supposed stars barely crack 300,000 viewers on their best nights, while Clark routinely doubles that number without breaking a sweat. Angel Reese can post all the double-doubles she wants, but her games still draw the same mediocre ratings that WNBA fans have grown accustomed to over the years. 2 weeks ago, last year, if you wanted to get a glimpse of Caitlin Clark, try to get that autograph, it would have cost you $300 to get in the building. It would have cost you $200 to get in the building, $500 to get in the building, and then you got to fight to get close enough. Now you have a pretty good opportunity, $25 to get in the building. Let me make my way down, because nobody's going to be there. Hey, Caitlin, and she loves her fans, so she's going to sign. She loves her. Hey, Caitlin, I came all the way. Can I get an autograph, please? It sucks you don't play. Oh, yeah, sign. Sign. So, for those that are looking for a Caitlin Clark autograph, now might be your best chance to get that at a reasonable price. I'm just saying, this injury creates the perfect natural experiment to test who actually moves the needle in women's basketball. The viewing data doesn't lie. Clark brings casual fans who simply don't tune in for other players, no matter how much the media tries to hype them up or create artificial storylines. You can manufacture rivalries and push narratives all you want, but you can't fake genuine star power that translates to eyeballs on screens. The so-called rising tide lifts all boats theory only works when Clark is actually in the water. Without her magnetic presence drawing new viewers to the sport, the WNBA returns to its previous status as background noise that most sports fans ignore. Networks are learning this lesson the hard way as they stare at empty programming slots and disappointed advertisers. Remember when people kept talking about the Angel Reese effect and how she was supposedly drawing crowds too? Well, this injury just exposed that myth completely. Reese had previously downplayed Clark's impact on the WNBA's popularity, suggesting that the league's growth was due to multiple players working together to lift the sport. She painted a picture where several stars were equally responsible for bringing new fans to women's basketball. But when Clark went down with her injury, where exactly was this mysterious Reese effect that was supposed to keep fans engaged? The Chicago Sky's ticket sales for non-fever games remained exactly where they've always been. Mediocre at best, even in their own city. You'd think if Reese really had this massive drawing power, Sky fans would at least show up to support their supposed superstar when she wasn't playing against Clark. The harsh reality is that Reese needs Clark more than Clark needs Reese. Their rivalry only generates buzz when both players are involved in the storyline. Without Clark to create drama against, Reese's games return to the background noise that most WNBA games unfortunately represent. The Sky vs. Fever matchup was compelling because of the contrast between the two players, not because Reese alone carried that interest. LSU fans might have followed Reese to the pros initially, but they're not buying tickets to see her play random Tuesday night games against Connecticut or Las Vegas. College loyalty only goes so far when you're asking people to pay professional sports prices for entertainment that doesn't deliver the same excitement level. Once you remove Caitlin Clark from the equation, there's no reason for people to watch this league, which is why people haven't been watching Angel Reese throughout her career. Her final season at LSU. This was the pinnacle of her drawing power. Angel Reese was coming off of winning a national championship. She was making cameos in these atrocious rap videos with Cardi B and some girl named Lado. Now keep in mind, this was before her public image was tainted. This was before Angel Reese was playing the role of the villain. Her final season at LSU, Angel Reese was filling the arena to 88% capacity. On the road, it was significantly worse. She was averaging just over 8,000 a game on the road. This injury created the perfect test case for who actually moves the needle in women's basketball, and the results weren't even close. When Clark's presence was removed from the equation, ticket prices crashed and fan interest evaporated. Meanwhile, games featuring just Reese maintained their typical low-level attendance and viewership numbers. The league is learning that you can't manufacture star power through media narratives or social media hype. Either you draw crowds or you don't, and the numbers speak for themselves. Mainstream media can portray Angel Reese as a huge star all they want, but the absence of Clark revealed that Reese's ability to draw an audience simply isn't comparable. There's a significant difference between being famous and being a legitimate draw in professional basketball. Angel Reese, she's great at creating stories. She knows how to manipulate the medium. Girl, if this don't give me a raise, I'll refuse to play. We all plat back at them haters. We don't tell Adam Silver to give us our bag. Yeah, Adam Silver is gonna give you a bag. He's gonna give you a grocery bag and tell you to load it in the person's car who actually had the money to buy the groceries. The Fever are now facing their biggest test since drafting Clark. Can they stay afloat without their franchise player for at least 4 games? The team that averaged 90.2 points per game with Clark suddenly needs to find offense without their primary playmaker and leading scorer. Kelsey Mitchell steps into the spotlight as the veteran leader, needing to shoulder the scoring load while managing increased defensive attention from opponents. Teams that previously focused their defensive schemes on stopping Clark will now key in on Mitchell as the primary threat. She'll face double teams and pressure that Clark normally absorbed, forcing her to make quicker decisions and create shots in tighter windows. Mitchell averaged 19.2 points per game last season, but now she needs to approach 25 points per night while maintaining efficiency to pick up the scoring load that will be missed while Clark sits on the bench. I don't think we change how we play. I think we change what the emphasis is, right? Our off-ball actions as opposed to some of our on-ball actions. When we get to our on-ball actions, utilizing our personnel in a different way, you might not see as much of AB getting the ball on a dive in a pick and roll as you would in some of the other off-ball screening actions that get her to that point, or where our shots come from. A lot of times with C in the ball in our hands, our shots are coming up off the break. Right now, we might get the ball moving inline to inline when we're moving it side to side. So I don't think it changes how we play. I think it just changes the emphasis on the actions that we get to. So Aaliyah Boston becomes crucial in the paint, as teams will likely pack the paint, knowing the Fever lost their best three-point threat and floor general. Opponents can now focus more attention on interior defense without worrying about Clark's range extending beyond the arc. Boston must capitalize on increased touches while dealing with more physical coverage down low. Her ability to score efficiently in the post and grab offensive rebounds becomes even more valuable when the team struggles to generate easy looks. The coaching staff faces a strategic puzzle that could determine their playoff fate. Do they slow down the pace that Clark thrived in, or try to maintain their identity without their engine? The Fever ranked among the league's fastest teams in pace, but that style depends heavily on having a point guard who can push tempo and make split-second decisions. Key players like Lexi Hull and Sophie Cunningham get their chance to prove they belong, but early returns show the massive gap Clark's absence creates. Hull needs to provide perimeter shooting that defenses can't ignore, while Cunningham must handle increased playmaking responsibilities. The harsh reality sets in quickly. Staying close to 500 might be the best-case scenario, as the Fever discover just how much their system depended on one player's unique skill set. These upcoming games against Washington, Connecticut, and Chicago were supposed to build momentum for the year. Instead, the focus shifts to avoiding a slide that could knock them out of the standings entirely before Clark returns to save their season. Now, there's so many things when you think about Caitlin and her not wanting to miss games. Obviously, she's a competitor and wants to play. Obviously, everyone wants to watch her play. But for me, it's maintaining perspective, right? It's making sure that we address this in a way that doesn't affect long term, that we take care of it. Don't over push, don't overexert, making sure that we take the long game approach to this, so that we're not having lingering issues throughout the course of the season. And I'm glad that, sometimes great players don't tell you when they're hurting. I'm glad that she did, because we need to nip this in. But the WNBA just got a reality check about what happens when you build your entire growth strategy around one player, and that player gets hurt. Clark's injury exposed the uncomfortable truth that the league's recent success isn't as stable as everyone hoped, but it also proved her irreplaceable value to women's basketball. When she returns, every team, every network, and every fan will appreciate what she brings to the game even more than before. The Fever need her back soon if they want to make the playoffs, and the league needs her healthy if they want to maintain any momentum from this breakthrough season.